what's going on, guys? Back with another video. Today we'll be taking a look at the issue number 2 from the new Transformers comic. This is the new Transformer comic that came out in March, and it's kind of made in the likeness of the Siege, War for Cybertron toys. I kind of talked about the issue 1, I think last week, and like I said, I'm just going to go over and show some of the artwork. Really enjoyed this issue actually, so the story's coming along pretty nicely. But I'll go over and just give a little Cliff Notes overview and just take a look at some of the artwork inside of it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright guys, and we're back with issue number 2 from the Transformers new comic. And as you can see, it has Chromia is on the cover. Awesome cover. You come in the inside and it kind of gives you a little story so far, recap of what happened last episode, and it just kind of touches on where Bumblebee is running around with Rumble, escorting him around, and then they meet Wingblade, and then they're off to find Brainstorm, and that's kind of what they were off to. And then at the end of last issue, they kind of Rumbles came across Brainstorm, and you kind of don't know. Brainstorm looks like he's in pretty rough condition or whatnot. It kind of leaves you hanging. And then also you had the whole Optimus meets with Megatron, and Megatron is about to speak at a rally. And Megatron and Optimus, I'm sorry, not Optimus, I keep wanting to call him Optimus, but it's Orion Pax, because this is when he is just Orion Pax. But Orion Pax and Megatron are used to be great friends, and it looks like that's kind of starting to go their separate ways just for political reasons. But Megatron is going to speak at some sort of rally, and Orion Pax is just a little bit concerned with what's going to happen at that rally, and he's trying to see if what kind of security he's going to need to be prepared for, if just in case the rally gets pretty hostile. And then here you can see at the end where Rebel kind of stumbles across Brainstorm, and that's kind of just a recap of last issue, or the first issue, I guess I could say. And then in this issue we have Rebel, we got Bumblebee, Wingblade, Orion Pax, Prowl, Chromia, Megatron, and Wheeljack. So, yeah, the issue kind of starts with Rebel just kind of talking to himself, just kind of going into deep thought. And if you don't recall, Rebel was a newly formed Transformer, and he is just kind of Bumblebee is kind of taking him under his wing and kind of showing him the ways of just Cybertron in general. And he's not a very, he's like a little kid, and he's just questioning himself and all kinds of different things, and just he's learning a lot and just is kind of trying to take it all in. But he's reminiscing and just kind of having conversations with himself. And then apparently Brainstorm, when they ran up him on the last episode, seems to be dead. And that's kind of what's going on here. Is you got Wingblade, Bumblebee, Prowl, and Chromia. They're all kind of checking out Brainstorm, kind of what happened with him, and they're just discussing what it could be, and they're really not sure about Rebel. I think Prowl and Chromia are kind of, they haven't met Rebel before. The last episode had Bumblebee and Wingblade, and they're kind of know how just how he's not probably capable of killing Brainstorm yet, or at least that's what they're thinking. But nothing really makes sense. Prowl is they kind of established the fact that Prowl is some great investigator, and he's going to go off, and he's not just going to leave any stone unturned. So if Rebel's the one that found him, he's gonna kind of pursue that until he can knock off the fact that Rebel's not the one that killed Brainstorm. Then they're also they start talking about a different faction called the Rise. So this is kind of what's going on here is there's multiple factions. Like the Autobots are a faction. The Assisticons, I think, are another faction. That's kind of like the faction that Megatron is kind of looks like he's ahead of, and that the rally that is going on or about to happen that Orion Pax was talking to Megatron about is the rally for the Assisticons. And then the Rise is the other faction, and the Rise is kind of, from what it sounds like, is similar to the Assisticons, but they're a more violent form. So those seem like the three main factions that have been talked about. Is like I said, the Rise, which is the violent faction, the Assisticons, and then the Autobots. So the Autobots are, obviously the friendly, non-confrontational faction, and the Assisticons are kind of like the ones who are like just not happy with the way things are going. And it looks like they're trying to do things peacefully by having rallies and stuff like that. But the Rise, from what I understand, are the more violent and just take matters into your own hand type of faction. But everybody ends up splitting up, and then Bumblebee and Rebel go and meet with Wheeljack, and you kind of introduce him, and just kind of just goes into depth about how he's just a fabulous engineer and stuff. And so Bumblebee drops Rebel off with Wheeljack for a while, and he kind of works in his shop and just talks about different things. There's some sort of thing that he's working on that I think that it's like a moon where it goes up and it gathers I think wind and turns it into energon or something like that. So something to that effect that Wheeljack has been working on. And Bumblebee leaves him with him, lets him work with him for a while, and that's kind of what's going on over here. And then Bumblebee returns and take Rebel back, and then they kind of just go into some deep conversations about Rebel is kind of just curious what faction he's going to join, and Bumblebee kind of assures him that you don't have to join any faction now. You're young and you can kind of just live your life for a while and kind of make that decision later. No big hurry to pick a faction. And then they're just, like I said, Bumblebee's just being big brother to Rebel. And then they kind of sit over here and watch this contraption or device that has been built that kind of goes up here and gathers. It's like a satellite type of thing. You see, it's kind of like hunkered down. It comes up and then it spreads out, and then it's some way to gather energon. And that's it as far as Bumblebee and Rebel for this issue. And then you kind of come over to over here in Tarn is where the rally was being held. You can see Soundwave is there in the back with Megatron, and Megatron is just at the rally speaking, and kind of seems like what the Assisticons are going on about is just the fact that they think that they're being held back, like that. It seems like the Autobots are rationing their energon, and meaning that they're not able to function to their full capacity because of the rations that they're being held back to, and it's not fair that they're kind of just not able to be all that they can be. It's kind of what for whatever his motives are, we don't know, but he thinks that it's kind of just madness that they're not able to have as much energon as they're capable of handling to be the the most effective Transformers that they can be for the most part. And then during this rally, something happens. There's like a bomb or something attacks and blows up the rally, and you can kind of see Megatron taking the impact of the explosion, and then that's about the end of it. Here you can see he's getting ready to try to fight back, but it looks like whoever it was gone. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens next issue, if that's going to be the Rise, since they're the violent faction, or if it, I'm sure I'm wondering if this is going to be something to where he just starts blaming this on the Autobots, like thinks that they're the ones that attacked him. But it'll be interesting to see how they go with that. And that's the end of issue number 2. And I think this looks like this is leading towards the next issue. So we'll see that. I really hope that's the cover for issue number 3, which I think that's actually out tomorrow or today. Actually, by the time I upload this, that would be a cool cover if that's what it is. And then here you just got some more. This is the cover art from this issue, and then you got some more artwork inside. Really digging the artwork for this comic so far. And that's it, just some advertisements and whatnot. And this is the back. So that's it, guys, for issue number 2. I more than likely will be doing the same thing for issue number 3 when it comes out. But that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode. Later.